Hello, I'm Neil Whelan, and welcome to the Wesleyan Podcast. In this episode, brought to you by Wesleyan Financial Services, Marie Williams-Cooke talks to Regional Manager Neil Richardson and B2B Account Manager Carly Millan-Page about how important it is for dentists to take an overall look at their business and personal finances as they plan for the future. They'll be considering all aspects of financial planning and how Wesleyan works with other partner organisations, such as lawyers, accountants and lenders, to ensure dental customers get the best possible outcomes. As ever, this podcast is for information only and isn't financial advice. But for those of you who would like to speak to someone, I'll be back at the end to tell you how to get in touch with us. And with that, I'll hand you over to Neil, Carly, and first up, Marie.
Carly, Neil, firstly, thank you so much for joining us today to talk around the subject of adopting a holistic approach to your finances and how this will maximise your financial success. So firstly, could I come to you, Carly? Can you just explain a little bit more about your role and what does a holistic approach to your finances mean in the world of dentistry?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Marie. Holistic seems to be such a trendy word at the moment, doesn't it? But essentially, what we mean by that is that here at Wesleyan Financial Services, we look after both the financial well-being of yourself as an individual and that of your business. So we work with specialist financial advisors and specialist financial planners who will work with you both personally and commercially to make sure that we're covering all bases. Also, within my role as a B2B account manager, what I'll do is I'll work with external partners to make sure that we're working with the absolute specialists within the dental industry, because it's so important for our clients to know that they're working not only with us as dental specialists, but that the partners that we work with are also specialists in that field.
Okay, so you've created a network of specialist dental partners that Wesleyan Financial Services work with. How are these selected and what is the selection process that you go through?
That's a really good question, Marie. And in actual fact, for dentists, there's so much choice when it comes to specialist dental legal services, accountants, estate agents, lenders, all of the sorts of organisations that you would really need to interact with if you are thinking about buying and selling a practice. And for us, it's really important that when we're working with these organisations, that their values mirror our values as an organisation. Our clients really deeply trust us with their personal finances. So for us, it's really important that if we're working with a specialist dental accountant or a solicitor, that those values are shared across the board and they've truly put our clients at the centre of everything that we do. We go through a stringent due diligence process to make sure that the partners that we're working with all meet the regulatory standards that they need to. And what we're doing is we're creating a network of professionals in each local area that put the client at the centre of everything that we do. So say, for example, we are working with a dentist who is looking to retire. We'll look at their exit strategy, not just from their profession, but from their business that they might have spent a lifetime building up. And in order to do that, it's really important for us that we get the right advice from other trusted professionals who can help and assist that process.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So, Neil, just coming to you, how does it all kind of work in practice? Have you got any sort of real life examples that you could share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the first and most important thing to say about the benefit of kind of working this circle of trust way is to say that there's nothing better in putting a plan together for a practice where you know that every single bit of it has been vetted by a specialist in each area. So if you are planning for somebody, particularly around commercial insurances, around potentially the loss of a business owner, and what would happen in the instance that one of the business owners was to die, unfortunately, and what impact that would have on the business, what impact that would have on the person's family. There's obviously a whole complex load of work that goes into that needs input from solicitor and accountant and financial planner. And the real value in it is the reassurance that a specialist looked at each area and basically rubber stamped it to make sure it does exactly what it's meant to do. So that's very much for me, firstly, the benefit of it. In terms of examples, there's so many examples. If I think of the commercial financial planner in my team at the moment, he's currently helping effectively a kind of a pair of owners running a practice where the value of the practice has significantly increased over the last 10 years. I believe they bought the practice from memory for about £300,000. It's now worth about £2.1 million. So obviously everything around the financial planning, around the protection of the partners and what would happen if either one was to have to buy the other out in any unexpected circumstance around illness or death, unfortunately. You've got a markedly different picture now from what it used to be 10 years ago when they bought the practice. And that needs to be considered in terms of how it would impact upon the business, whether the business would need to refinance in either of those instances, and also the impact on the individual partner who'd have the unfortunate circumstances, personal financial position, and their family financial position in terms of the impact on the potential loss of the effectively ultimate sale proceeds in that scenario. So there's some really, really good value in it, both from a business and a personal financial reassurance perspective, in just having that peace of mind that something's been looked at in that level of thought and detail.
Yeah, and I think with that complexity, you really do need those specialists to advise you, don't you? So to summarise, what would you say are the key benefits then for dentists that are considering this approach and working with multiple partners together for their financial planning?
I would say that it's going to save you a significant amount of time when you're dealing with trusted professionals who understand your specialism, and not only that, they understand the goals that you want to achieve. And within trusted networks of professionals who regularly work together, there's a unique understanding of how the other party works. For example, I was chatting to one of our partners the other day, and he mentioned, he's a lawyer actually, and he mentioned how much easier it is to do deals with buying and selling of practices when you already know the other lawyer on the other side of the coin who's involved. It just creates a much more seamless process, which in turn is going to save the client both time and money, because all of these organisations bill their clients based on different tranches of time that it takes them to create and compose these deals. And having that peace of mind for a client that a network of trusted professionals who have your best interests at the heart of everything that they do, working on your deal for you, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, no, definitely. And are there any sort of topical subjects that dentists should be considering right now?
Yes, definitely. So at this time of year, coming up to tax year end, it's really, really common for us to get clients coming to us saying, I think I can now accurately project where I'm going to be as a total income level for this year. And I've talked about that with my accountant. They've told me what it means from a tax perspective. And they've talked to me about the advantage of looking at the ways with a financial planner that I could potentially reduce my taxable income for the year by making a pension contribution that might drop me down a tax band or regain my personal allowance for me. And that's something we find ourselves really, really busy on at this time of year because of obviously the proximity to tax year end. And the great thing about working in a circle of trust and having these partnerships in place is that we know when we have clients come to us and they talk about the fact that they've already discussed these things with their accountants, we can immediately tick a box and say, brilliant. We know that the client understands the situation. We know they've got specialist advice already from the right people before they've come to us. But what those relationships allow us to do is go back and just rubber stamp it and say, can we just double check that this is definitely going to be accurate in the situation before we give advice? And that ultimately means that we give those clients the best possible advice in that situation.
Yeah, and everyone's completely aligned.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Neil. Well, that's fantastic. And I think it really gives us an insight into the benefits for dentists trying to navigate this very complex situations that they might find themselves in, but with the support of specialist teams working on their behalf. So thank you once again for joining us today, and we hope to speak to you both soon.
And that's our show for this week. Thank you to Marie, Carly and Neil. If you are looking for expert financial advice, go to wesleyan.co.uk, where you can book an appointment with one of our specialist financial advisors. To clarify, charges may apply, but we won't charge you until you have agreed the services you require and the associated costs. You can learn more at wesleyan.co.uk/charges. As for finding out about Wesleyan more generally, you can find us on the website formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you found this podcast useful, you can like and subscribe to us on all the usual platforms, as well as go to YouTube, where there's a whole library of videos covering a wide range of financial planning topics. But that's it for now. So until next time, thanks for listening.